Hello again, this is Barry from Knitting for Love, and I'm here again with a video on how to show you how to fix your stitches. And this can be difficult for most people. Most people like to rip stuff out. My sample here is a stockinette stitch. It is knit on one side, purled on the other side, which creates this stitch. And I'm just going to do this because that's mostly a nightmare for most people is they drop their stitches off their needles and don't know how to put them back on. And it's craziness, and I just say take a deep breath and take it slow. If you find that your work is like this, what you're going to do is you're going to put your needle in and you're going to hold it and you're going to try to slide them back through, all facing the right direction. And sometimes you may actually pick one up that isn't in the right direction. And see, I did that very slowly, and all of them are back on. Now I'm gonna slip some of these stitches over so we can show you how we fix a drop stitch. And for this you're going to need a crochet hook, and I have one right there. And so I'm going to just drop this stitch. Kind of went out of focus there. Okay. And trying to fix this. Okay, so we have a stitch that's dropped, and what's going to happen is your stitches might run, and you see that that's like a little ladder behind there. These little rows, these little strings are a ladder effect. Now some patterns might call for you to actually do this on purpose, and I will go into that pattern at another time. But as you can see, this little loop is kind of hanging out here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crochet hook, and because this is a knit stitch, you're going to perform this the same way if it was a purl stitch. If you drop a stitch on the purl stitch, it's going to look like this. All you got to do is just flip it back over to the knit side and pick up the stitches as follows. So you're going to get that stitch and you're going to pull it just enough, and then you're going to pick up that first ladder and you're going to pull it through there like so, and you're going to pull it on a little bit, and then you're going to take the next one and then you're going to pull on that one too, and then you're going to slide it back up and on the needle. Now as you can tell, all my stitches are back, tension is right, and you can keep on working. Now, tougher instance is if you're working on the garter stitch. You've got purls on both sides and you get a stitch that drops. That's a little bit more difficult. I would tell people most of the time just put a safety line in and be done with it. But I will show you how to pick up this stitch and what it looks like when you pick it up, and how to tell when you how to fix that. So basically we're going to drop that one off. I'm going to pull so it ladders down. Now as you can tell, it's laddering down alternating. So I'm going to get 3 of them done here. And you can tell that that stitch is kind of sitting in the middle of all of that work. So you basically got to figure out which stitch you got to pick up first. And basically looking at the other side, that stitch is first. So basically we're going to flip it over. And since that's the first stitch we need to pick up, I'm going to come in from behind. And I'm going to go into that loop. As so. And now this stitch right here, I'm going to pull it back through. And I'm going to pull it enough so I can pick it back up when I turn it back over. Now, I'm going to insert from behind, and I'm going to pick that one up and pull it through. And I like the crochet hook method because it actually hooks it. And I don't have to worry about splitting any stitches, which I almost did, but usually it doesn't happen. Now I'm going to go from behind and pick up my last stitch. And there. Wait, nope, I didn't get it. So try not to twist it because then you're going to create some other stitch. So there, now. Well, I was out of focus for you guys to see that. Okay, so I'll do that again. So this is the stitch, and I'm going to pull this one through, and this is the last one. I'm going to pull it a little, and then insert that one back on the hook. Now everything looks normal again. So basically you just keep on working from where you were working, and you can tell both sides is repaired. Now if you are working on something like a lace pattern or something that repeats every so many rows, I would suggest using a safety line. And what a safety line is it goes into your work without disturbing the pattern, but holds the stitches in place just in case you make a mistake. And safety line can be anything from a thin string or another color string. Just use something similar to it or less than it. You don't want to stretch your stitches with anything thicker. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under each one of these and then pull it through. As you can tell, it's a little tedious. And I'll pull it all the way through. And then we got a couple more. And you just want to go all the way to the end of the row. There. And pull the needle off and put it aside. Now, you can keep working from there. You can see it under there. You're inside, and it's not messing up the pattern or anything. And you can work your next few rows. And what I suggest is, if you're working a pattern that has a repeat, I would put a safety line in after I've done the full repeat or chart. Some patterns have you do a chart that has like 20 rows or 10 rows or 4-row repeat. I would put that in every time I need to repeat, and then I would look at my work and see whether or not I need to pull it out. Now when I get to my next repeat, when I finish the next one, I will take another piece of thread and put it through that, and I will check in between the two safety lines to make sure everything is still perfect and I don't have to do anything. If I do have to do anything, I'm just ripping out to the bottom the very first safety line you put in. Once you're done with the safety line and say, okay, it's nice, and I don't have to work with it and I don't have to rip it out and fix anything, then I can just pull this and it comes right out of the work. And then you can keep on going and reinserting every time you have a repeat. I hope this was helpful for most. I will go into how to fix other stitches later on. It's just I only did the first 2 stitches because that's the first 2 stitches that I have in the previous videos on how to fix them. Hope you like this video. Please subscribe. My next video should be how to do yarn overs and eyelets, which are little holes purposely placed all over the place to make a design. Talk to you later. Thank you. Happy knitting.